When you count down the last three, you're supposed to go silent and just go 3.
Well, that would
This
have
is
been
professional operation,
okay.
man.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the War Room. 3.1.10 is what we're called. As the guest and the producer fight each other, let's have a look at what we're going to be talking about this time. We have here on my agenda news, where we'll talk about the dev newsletter, which was quite a cool one this time, as they are every time. We have 3.1.10, so we're going to talk about what you guys can expect next Thursday, what kind of features there'll be, what changes there'll be, and what skins there'll be.
Sure.
You were meant to go, ooh!
You were meant to tell them.
What skins there'll be.
We went over this.
We did go, well, but I was directly talking to you that one, because I was
Oh,
expecting
yeah, I
you
was
to
ignoring you.
be an
Sorry.
audience. And we got some minor changes in that patch, but we also have, and this is what's really exciting, is... Just checking that the audio is working. We have a test coming up, a ranked test, and we'll be able to talk a little bit about that, because we know you guys have been talking about ranked a lot, and we've been working on ranked a lot, so let's open the Kraken, release the Kraken.
Release the Kraken.
Okay,
This is a shame.
so let's jump into it with the first and most important news of what it was recently, right? Our 31st birthday,
Oh,
and we
right,
have
okay.
nearly. Is that? That,
There we go.
there we go. Look, this was our little card from Wargaming.
Yay.
Huh?
Yeah.
Did you get it? It says camel.
No, I get
it's,
it.
it's like all the jokes that they make.
I get it. I ain't laughing, but I
Wait,
get
is
it.
that a tank cannon on there?
Yes.
Oh, I actually didn't notice that. I thought it
Oh,
was still the
yeah.
light. Oh wow. Where would the ammo come from though? In the humps?
You think that's the problem with that image, is where does the ammo come from?
Yeah, like I know they store water in their humps, but not military grade shells.
Oh, dear.
So yeah, that's just a nice little note to open the live stream on. Happy
Yeah.
birthday to us. But I think we'll move on from the tank camel. Camel? Cank? It sounds like a naughty word.
Yeah, it does.
Um,
I don't know, I'm afraid.
so we're going to move on to the thing that actually I think you're semi-involved in. High tier abilities.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We're going to talk about
what are you signing me up for?
we have the high tier ability selection, and I have actually got something that I haven't run past anyone downstairs, and I've just realised that. But it's a little video of me scrolling up and down of that picture that we put in the dev newsletter.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll roll that and just kind of show you guys what kind of, at the moment at least, what abilities we're thinking of, and what we're looking at to see what works. So people didn't understand. Some people didn't understand there was a scroll bar, and they thought that those were the only abilities they could pick. So this is just kind of show you that actually we are trying to introduce a lot of variety here, a lot of
Yeah,
selection.
so I've seen a lot of people worried about the balance of this. And to sort of give you an idea of what we're trying to, how closely we're keeping an eye on that, we actually finished this feature like quite a while ago, and we're still not releasing it.
Yeah.
Because we're still testing the balance, we're still going over it. We've been very, very careful with it. We increased the feature itself to include things. So, for example, you can, or we can, sorry, assign certain abilities into groups together, so that you can't equip more than one of those abilities.
Yep.
So, like, you can't equip vicious strikes and stab.
As I'm about to
As
ready.
he's about to, there we go.
Look
See?
at that.
So you can't equip both of them. That was perfect timing.
I know.
So there's all kinds of things in there like that to make sure that things don't wombo combo out of control. We had a fun playtest the other day where someone managed to get barrage level of reload time decrease with a combination of 3 unit abilities and a commander ability on a 30-second cooldown.
Oh.
So we noticed that one. So there's things like that are coming out where the balance guys are still doing all their balancing on it. So hopefully it won't be a nightmare balance by the time it gets out.
Yeah. And of course, there's other things we'll look into as well. I think we said in the dev newsletter that we're doing a lot of kind of internal testing on this, but we're not also against maybe looking at external testing on there as well.
Yeah.
We're looking at all the options because we do want this to come out and not everyone be like, oh my god, the balance is ruined at tier 10. We want it to come out and be excited, that now there's more opportunities and much more flavour there.
Yeah. That's the hope anyway.
And actually, a lot of questions are asked about this, about whether it will ever be available to other abilities.
Other abilities, do you mean tiers?
That's the one I meant.
So the original plan was to bring it down by a few tiers, not too many. But we kind of wanted to give it as a feature to those guys at tier 10. You know, you've spent a lot of time working to get there, and this is sort of an extra encouragement to spread out a bit more.
Yeah.
So in theory, it may well come down a bit later on in the tiers, depending on how well it goes. Because at the same time, if we limit it to one tier for now, we can try and, if the balance is completely right, because we limited that problem to one tier, which is less of a problem than if we spread it across many tiers. The feature itself, excluding the actual abilities, the feature itself will be available at lower tiers. So you won't have any extra abilities to equip, but you will be able to swap your abilities.
Yep.
The limitation of that, though, is that you won't be able to move abilities into empty slots. That is something that I want in a next iteration kind of thing. I don't know when that will be, but this was like this is like the let's get the minimum version out there so that players can play with it, and then we can, instead of investing all the costs right up front and then find nobody wants to use it or something like that, we can iteratively make it better as we go.
Yep. So something that some people were surprised at is that the abilities aren't necessarily faction specific.
No, they're not. So you can see Hamstring right there is available to Imperial Guard if you go and unlock the Barbarians. I don't remember which unit it was. It's Oathsworn or something like that.
Okay. So in order to unlock full customization, you
Yeah.
can play around as well.
Yeah, it really rewards you for spreading out and unlocking many things on many factions. I don't think we have any situations where, oh no, there was one right there. I was about to say most of the time, like there's a tier 5 is where you get a Hamstring, there's tier 9 where you get some other stuff. So it's not like you have to go all in on everything and to unlock everything you need to unlock everything. There is stuff you can unlock as you go through your normal progression kind of thing.
Well, I think that looks really cool. Firstly, so in the playtest we've done, I've absolutely loved it. I shared one of my favorite on the dev newsletter, one of my favorite Sulla builds at the moment. But I love trying to make him just the ultimate turtle.
There was Will, I think it was, just instead of helping the rest of his team, he sat in the base of Sulla with like parry and a whole bunch of other melee defense abilities. And eventually the enemy team killed the rest of us. And then they tried to kill him. And it took longer to kill just him than it took to kill the entire rest of the team. Because we were testing an infantry-only match. So he just sat there, he just didn't die. Between prescription and fortification and parry and some of the other abilities he had, I can't remember what the other ones were. He just stayed there forever and just didn't die.
And that's why we're taking our time to internally test this a lot.
We're going to be doing many more playtests, I think.
Yeah.
I quite liked I had a Germanicus one where my first two units had basically on a personal with my player hat on, as it were. I don't like the way Palatini look, so I prefer to play Imperial Guard. But I don't like how slow Imperial Guard are, so I prefer to play Palatini. But I was able to. I was looking at the units and trying to figure out what am I going to play and how. And then I picked up the Imperial Guard. Like, oh damn, they have marching column. I very rarely use form combat because I like to be able to like move in and out of combat and control my guys a little bit more carefully. So I was just like, yeah, marching column right on instead of form combat. So that was nice. And then I switched out my third unit, so he had Hamstring and Unite.
Okay.
So no, not Reunite. He had Raise Eagle, so that my two first guys could get right into the fight. And I think they had Stab and Hamstring. So there's a distinction on strikes where some of the strikes are called utility strikes because they don't do much damage, and then other strikes are called damage strikes because they do a lot of strikes but not much else useful. So I had Hamstring and Vicious Strikes or something like that. And my third one had Raise Eagles and Hamstring. So my third one was basically the support for the other two. So the other two would go in, get in there, start whacking people down, and the third one would hold back a little bit more and make sure they didn't break. So he would be like my line back. I don't know American football, I shouldn't have bothered using that. They'll be the guys at the back who keep my guys in, and it was a really fun kind of playstyle because then I was able to change adding on the consumables on top of the per unit customized abilities. Because that's the thing that maybe isn't obvious from here, is that you can have different abilities on each of those units. So each one can be customized completely individually alongside your consumables as well. And don't say that you're surprised and impressed. You've played
it. I have to represent the
players. Yeah. Okay.
Oh wow, that's really cool. Actually,
well, what are they saying, man? Whoa, Sasha.
Sasha's just joined the chat.
Thanks, Sasha. Taking all the thunder.
But yeah, what I found really cool was having like the support ability, like having a basic setup and having the support ability on each one different, so I could cycle through depending on what I needed. That was a lot of fun as Sulla. Are you just going to sit there and read the chat? Shall I move on?
Well, there was a guy actually who's talking to me directly, so keep ability locked in the same faction. This could be a bit crazy. Oh, Jamie, where are the shorts? I'm the four shorts back on. I'm not wearing the shorts again. That was too far. Basically, we wanted to reward you for spreading across multiple. So actually, I should read out the question. Wouldn't it be better to just keep abilities locked in the same faction? This could get a bit too crazy. Lol. We kind of wanted to let you explore and go out to other factions and really spread. And the balancing content guys have gone over abilities and said these ones would be cool. They won't be OP in this specific combination. That kind of stuff. So the idea is that we very carefully manage what will and won't be overpowered. And if we think an ability from another faction will be overpowered, we don't make it available. So for the most part, I'm hoping it'll be okay. Are you serious about hamstring on Romans? I mean, we had it in the version that we played. I can't promise it'll go out that way because it might not be balanced, but that's up to the
I think
balance
something
guys.
to note as well is that if we find that there are abilities that are unbalanced on factions, like you can see here, if one of these abilities turns out to just not be working out, we can get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
This is still being worked on.
Yeah, so we haven't finished yet. As I say, the balance guys are still balancing it, and they will remove stuff as is necessary. But ultimately, this is a tool to have fun with, and it's a tool to encourage you to explore and play more different factions and spread out a bit.
Yep.
If it does end up wrecking balance, then it will be taken away. That's life.
Yeah.
That's the game. And we're still working on it. So as we say, you can see all this going on here. This is a video that Josh recorded of a debug version. Not debug version, a non-complete version. So it's not out yet.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
And we do like
obviously, if we do find that it's too much, we will take it away.
And we do like giving people a little bit of a look behind the scenes of what we're working on. And
yeah,
here is a look.
Yeah. Charge column and actual charge. It's a formation that improves charges, I believe. Make charges available too. Maybe. I'm not the one who controls exactly what goes in here. I designed the feature that actually drives all of that. I did the tech stuff behind it, basically, as opposed to decided what abilities go in there.
That was some magic there, fading in and out.
Ooh. I mean, yeah, we're talking about game lore. Yeah, alright. Yeah.
Alright. Can I have my power back?
No.
I miss my power. Feels
Jamie
weird.
is also not the one who decides if he's visible on the stream.
There we go.
I like it.
Alright, so that's kind of just an expansion of what we spoke about in the dev newsletter. Let's talk about bugs.
Lovely.
Ooh, you had a grimace there. Is that some kind of reflex?
That was a joke.
I mean,
don't worry. That's always the reaction I have when someone says bug.
Right.
Bug.
I've lost my own train
Like a
of thought.
ghost.
So what we've done is we've changed how we're internally picking up community bugs, and we really wanted to tell people this because we haven't been speaking as directly as much in all of the bug reporting channels because there are more bug reporting channels and more people reporting bugs than there have been. But we don't want you guys to ever think that we're not looking there. What we do now is actually myself and member of QA, every morning we sit down, we have a scheduled appointment, a little meeting.
That's where they have the cookies.
That's where we have.
He still hasn't given me any cookies because he has them. Same with producer apparently.
As well.
See,
I
he
cookies
promises his
to too many
cookies, but
people.
instead he just eats them every morning with this QA guy
in our little meeting. And then what we do is we go through all of the different bug channels. So the community subreddit, the community Discord, our Praetorian subreddit, our Praetorian Discord. We look at all of them to check out where you guys have been reporting bugs. We log them up. We give them severities. We check the dates where they were last reported. So we are looking at all those channels. We will do follow-up questions. We'll sometimes message people with a follow-up. But we are looking there. So if you guys see a bug, and this system only started like 3 weeks ago. So if you see a bug and you've reported it, and maybe you haven't reported it in the last 3 weeks, but you've recently experienced it, absolutely go ahead and re-report it. Over-reporting in those channels is much, much better than under-reporting. That made sense, right?
Yeah, sure.
So yeah. There we go. Let's talk about bug bounties as well, because we're talking about bugs.
Sure.
In our community Discord, there is also a bug bounty. So this is the current bug bounty. Thank you for bringing that up, because I forgot I even had that as a picture. So what we're going to do is, bug bounties are a way for us to kind of thank you guys for helping us with this bug work, and also to try to channel that. So you may notice that when we did the 3.1.8 hotfix, the community was super helpful. And I think we came on the stream and we said, you guys were super helpful. You helped us narrow this bug down really quickly, and we wouldn't have been able to do that without the help of you guys. And we thought, so what about all these other community bugs we have where we just don't have enough information to be able to properly investigate it, but we know they're there and we know they're real?
A good example of that one, there's an achievement that only counts as one.
Yes.
Where as MBRX, kill 3 elephants in a battle, you get an achievement. And people who don't even own MBRX and are playing in battles that don't even have elephants are getting the achievement. And I can't figure out why. Because a big part of the client-side achievement system, which is the one that grants this achievement, is stuff that I wrote. But when I run the replays of battles where it happened, it doesn't happen. And if I run it in, it's driven me mad.
Well, that's one that could maybe be on the bug bounty,
It's driven me absolutely mad. I can't figure out why it's happening, and it doesn't make any sense. But it is happening, because I looked at your profiles, and you've got the achievement when you shouldn't. And some of you, I've looked at your profiles, you don't have MBRX, but you have the achievement, which is not possible. So, oh, God.
So...
Yeah.
There we go. Well, that's an example, right, of what these bugs do to the designers and to the QA.
I spent 3 days trying to track that down and couldn't make it happen.
Oh, well. Well, there we go. So this is why we've got the bug bounty system, right, is to harness that and to also thank you guys at the same time. So we'll give you, if you do manage to help us work out the bugs, we'll give you a really special title, and every time you work out a bug or make significant help towards working out that bug, your title will kind of level up. So we'll have different stages of titles. I haven't decided what the titles are yet. If you guys have suggestions.
Bug finder.
As you see, that's the
Cockroach.
thing. But it's got to sound super cool at the end.
Spider.
Bug mother.
Mother or brood mother.
So there you go. So that's the kind of thing we're doing with bug bounties. If you head over to Discord, have a look. That was the current bug we had where only part of the UI is loading.
Yeah, I was confused at that.
Yeah, if you bring that back up so I can actually explain it. So only part of the UI is loading.
Oh, I thought it was like somebody had cropped out the bottom left.
No,
he
zoomed in on the grass to help us out.
Okay.
But you can see like the balance of power and that stuff, and you can't normally hide parts of it and not others. So if you guys have actually had this bug and you think you know how it happened, if you go over to Discord as well, then there might even be a title in it for you. So let's. Someone said if I report pathfinding bugs, will I get Pathfinder? Let's move on to 3.1.10 because we are 20 minutes in and we haven't actually spoken about anything that's coming in the next patch.
Okay.
Because that high durability system, as we say, we're still working on it. It's not going to be in the next patch. We've still got a lot of testing to do. So, skins. We promised in the dev newsletter skins, and let's start with our first one, which should be the Hannibal skins. No, it's Scipio. Scipio skins. There we go. Got the nod. So these are the new Scipio skins we got coming. Ignore that. These are the new Scipio skins we have coming. Here is Scipio Triumphant. Oh, no one clip it.
Clip it, please.
So look how nice that is. It's a nice red skin for him. It's a much more Roman skin. I would say that's more like in his days where he was mid-Carthage fighting, right? And he still believed in Rome and didn't hate it yet.
I didn't even know he ended up hating it.
Yeah, he ended up saying like, "Rome, don't bury my bones in Rome."
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. And this is a Phil Helen skin, which I really like. Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of in Rome 2, when someone secedes from your faction and they become blue.
Okay.
So I see that as a secession Scipio.
As opposed to Phil Helene.
Yeah. It's an easier word to say.
All right. You feel free to call it that if you want,
I'll call it anything I want. It doesn't mean it's real.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a couple of really cool skins for Scipio. And there's me switching between all three, so you can see the differences.
Yeah.
Let's go to Hannibal. Here's Hannibal. Recognize him? Excellent.
I do.
Here's his Nemesis skin, which is a kind of darker toned Hannibal skin. He's being someone's nemesis. Do you know whose nemesis he's probably being?
Scipio?
Rome, I was going to say. Scipio beat him. So.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
Can you beat... I guess, yeah, if they beat you, they are. So this is his Scipio nemesis skin, I guess.
Sure.
Oh God, we're making up the lore on the spot.
Yeah.
I
feel like when it's history,
the
it shouldn't
history
be called
lore,
right?
We're not rewriting history, I promise. And I really like Hannibal Ascendant. I don't know, for me it's a little bit like heavenly-ish. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, this is his heaven skin.
Or it's
God.
it's his Hannibal
How am I
Ascendant
not
skin.
in this? How am I not in the skin marketing game? I mean,
I mean, you are kind of the marketing team for Arena, so you kind of are.
partly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
definitely shouldn't be in the skin marketing game.
Yeah.
And so these are the next ones. Before you click on them, these are two of my absolute favourite skins we've done. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a big Leonidas player. Let's go to the Leo skins. Here we go. That's Leonidas, as you know and love him. Eternal Guardian. Look at that, he's got the Nemean lion on his shield.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
cool is that? There's me showing off the shield, and then I go back to it. Look at he's got the really nice checkered pattern. I don't know, it's almost like he
Yeah. Oh, the
took
colour
himself
scheme.
as Hercules, right? And he dressed up that way, went to go fight the Nemean lion. Oh, how much longer are we going to zoom in on this?
You really like that shield.
I really like that shield. Come on, Josh. Go to the. Here we go.
Yeah,
Ready
you
for the
got
God
to
of War
default.
skin? Now this is
Yeah.
the one I teased a long time ago. Oh, I've gone back to Eternal Guardian. Come on, Josh. Come on.
Come on.
Here we
Josh.
go.
There we go.
There it is. That's the one.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. It's such a Spartan skin. You know, it's the Spartan red is all I've wanted for him. I really love the shield.
So I was just thinking about how you sounded exactly like someone off MasterChef. or
It tastes
such,
the shield
such a
tastes.
Spartan skin with a buttery biscuit base.
But yeah, there we go. Also, the Eternal one, he's a little bit dirty, I've noticed, in Eternal Guardian. A little bit of dirt on him.
Got a shower.
But I'm not going to switch back to that
It's
now.
been a long time. It's been eternity, right? It's
Yeah.
quite a while.
Someone
How
called
do
it
you
the
just
Heinz
start to-
ketchup bottle skin.
Heinz ketchup.
Well, let's hope you can't take his head off. I love it because it's red. I did actually say that. Did I say that then? I've said
I
that
don't
before.
think so.
No, when I showed it the first time, I said I love it because it's red.
Oh, okay.
And I can't believe they remembered that.
Oh,
Oh, thanks, guys. So... Oh, my God. I thought I dropped it. Oh. Oh. Let's talk
I actually
about...
just wanted to read it.
Oh, let's talk about the post-battle screen improvements.
Oh yeah.
There's no picture for this, so you can feel free to
Mm.
go on us. Does it say there's a picture for this? Because there isn't. Good. So the post-battle screen improvements, we introduced the MVP screen,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we've noticed that there's some improvements people have suggested, and they're improvements that we can actually do quite quickly. They're not
Mhm.
major overhauls.
Yep.
So, shall I list off the improvements, or do you know them?
Go for it.
The post-battle chat.
I like how you made me answer the question of whether I know what they are
Well,
or not. Yeah.
Well, I meant, did you work on it?
I didn't work on it.
Okay.
No. This was.
That's what I meant. I wasn't
one
trying
of
to
the designers,
patronise you. Like,
yeah.
do you even know what's going in the next patch, Jamie? So, post-battle chat will be open by default. The details button has been replaced with a continue button,
It has indeed.
and then when you go continue, it will automatically open up your results. And what we found is that actually a lot of new players maybe weren't even noticing that there was a details section,
Yeah.
and they weren't seeing how they were doing. And that's actually something we do want to encourage, right? You want to see yourself getting better. And here's the change. I think we'll get wide stream, wide acclaim. Let's say it was wide acclaim. Is the animations on the post battle detail screen are a lot faster, so your results will be displayed a lot quicker. So I think it's the animation is a lot faster.
Yeah, that one's
And-
driven me up the wall for ages. Like, I always hated entering that screen and be like, okay, this is like the 5,000th time I've seen this screen. I don't need all this animation.
I believe the only time it's not faster is if you've actually ranked up, because then you want to see that whoop boo.
Yes, yeah.
You feel free to use that sound effect, CA.
Whoop,
Um,
boom.
So
We're going to get credits in all the other games now.
we've also changed the escape key behavior on the MVP screen. So it's a lot more like the front end, which means that if you press escape, there's a whole variety of things. But pretty much, it's a way for you to press continue and to leave the MVP screen if you're pressing it. Just hammer escape. Also changes to drag select. Is that something you worked on?
Yes, actually. Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So yeah, I
got
don't know
the
why I was
notes
going to
here,
pick that up. No, I'm good. So yeah, drag select isn't great. If you've ever had the situation where you've got your units sort of spread out, you just had a bit of a fight, you drag select one unit, and then you click, and then you realize all of your units were selected, and they're all going in that direction now. Ah, crap! Now I got to go back and make them fight again, etc. That was happening because, how to put it makes sense. So we have our units are made up of squads, and each unit has a main squad, which is where the unit identifier is always over, and then we have sub squads. So when entities or soldiers move, there's certain conditions, but when they're away from the main squad, when they're a bit too far away, they'll separate out into their own sub squad, and then the close clusters of those guys will be in sub squads together. So what was happening was that as you move your one unit away, one or two entities got left behind because they got caught in the enemy or were knocked down, etc. And then when you drag selected your other unit, it also noticed, oh, there's one entity or however many entities in this. Select that one too, and even though it's like running off the other side of the map. So basically in this change we excluded sub squads from that selection. So only when you drag select the main squad of a unit or its unit identifier will be the only times where they're included in your drag selection. So it should make it feel a lot nicer. And when I was playing it, it did feel a lot nicer. I didn't have the situation where I was very quickly trying to manage my units and then all of a sudden all three of them go off in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And things like that. It feels a lot nicer now.
Yeah, people say nice change, praise for our Emperor.
Am I the Emperor?
Well, someone also said they'd pay for a Josh announcer pack. We don't have announcers though.
No, we don't.
But you know what we do have?
Well,
Commander voices.
You can like every time your commander dies, it just goes, "Ooh!"
You are killing our allies.
Oh no.
That was a Kanani. Good.
Okay.
I mean, I've never heard that line.
Maybe
before.
with the Josh and Getterick skin, I can be the first skin that has audio changes.
Oh boy. Or Josh Manicus.
Josh Manicus. That's what I meant.
Which
sorry,
we will get
Josh
to
and
later.
Getterick. I forgot about Josh Manicus.
So yeah, people say sounds good. Looking forward to it. Any news on the region lock stuff? The Tess asked, and I think at the moment we are saying not yet. We announced this like 4 months ago at this point,
Yeah.
and we were very eager when we announced it, and we thought, you know what, we could probably get this done quite quickly, and then we realised that actually the way that it's locked in is in a lot of our online systems, right? And if we make very quick small changes to it, we could have much bigger effects.
Yep.
So we kind of got to put the brakes on and make sure that the changes we make and what we do don't break everything. Because if it breaks one thing, then when the game goes live, it would break everything. If that makes any sense.
Yep.
So it's a laborious process, but it is
Mind
one
you,
way.
It makes sense to me because I know.
Yeah, but it is
As to everybody else, I don't.
it is
can't
absolutely
answer
still
that.
something we're committed to.
Yeah. Sorry, I kept interrupting you.
No, it's absolutely fine. So yeah, it's one of those things where we thought it was going to be quite quick, but then we kind of realised that if we make any kind of mistake here, we're in a huge amount of trouble,
Yeah.
and that could require a lot of time to fix. So we're taking it slow, but we are taking it
Yeah.
steady.
Stuff like that is kind of difficult to test because our environments don't work across multiple regions because it just needs to work, in our office. So testing that,
Yeah.
we're pretty much on the live environment. That's risky.
Yeah.
Like if everything goes wrong, that's it.
Yeah.
Difficult to fix.
And very difficult to then roll back.
Yeah.
Right.
That too.
So, thank you for that question. That is something I've been meaning to address. Cosmetics panel.
Oh yeah.
Some minor changes, but some pretty cool ones. So like on the Commander skin selection where you have your default, on the cosmetics panel you will now find that you have the default equipment for every unit, like unlocked obviously because you have it. So that means that you can switch between, instead of just unequipping a cosmetic, you can switch back to the other one.
Yeah.
It just means that, it's a bit more clarity.
Yeah,
and
it's just a little
more
quality
uniform.
of life change.
It is. And speaking of quality of life change, I have all of the animation bugs here, but I'm not going to read them out because there are a lot. So pretty much,
Oh, you know that? What is it? That country song?
yeah,
Or the
No.
element song? Do that, but for animation bugs.
maybe.
Yeah,
Oh.
where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
All of these. What's he doing? Do you know what's about to happen?
Fix the series of animation bugs below are the resolved issues. At the end of a cheering, flinching animation. And the no, it's not going to work. Oh well. Anyway, at the end of a cheering,
Pick
flinching
some
animation,
random ones and
the
read them
shield
out.
weapon of a unit will snap to a slightly different position. Animation issue where an entity attacks while in spear phalanx and
Ooh,
facing
enjoyed the
down
singing
or
there.
uphill. Splice animations. Light and heavy thrust animations have significant clipping and floating on the entity's shield. You can safely assume that it doesn't have these things anymore.
So that's what it
This
says.
is a description of
Below
the
are the
bugs,
resolved issues.
as opposed to what we've
Yes.
done. Spear units experience weapon snapping during the flinch animation. Blending issue at the end of flinch projectile animation for most unit types. You're using shield bash and phalanx results in shield floating / clipping.
I think
Archer entity's bow will float from their hand to the back of a cheer animation thing.
you can have one more. Do you have one more?
Odd animations with shield of units and spare phalanx after completing a move order.
There you go. And the other bug as well that I thought was quite significant to talk about is we did fix an issue, and this was an important one to my heart, where Ambiorix was holding an arrow instead of a bow. So that will no longer happen. Was he trying to fire the arrow?
Maybe sort of throw it.
That would
Maybe
be
he was just like,
the mini
don't
jab.
even need bow. Throw arrow. Like a dart.
Look at Josh's face, the power fading, I know, right? So let's talk about, what's the time? 1:30. Let's talk about something else then. Let's talk about ranked.
Okay.
I will talk about ranked because I
You
have
will
all my
talk about
notes on ranked.
Yeah.
Alright.
Basically, I didn't make ranked, so he's going to talk about ranked.
I represent everyone not on this couch.
Yeah, everyone not me,
Not everyone not on this couch. The arena team not on this couch.
who are not me.
Who are not you. Well, because you're not on the couch.
I am on the couch.
Yeah. So, we...
I'm not on the couch.
You got me there. Very soon, I don't think I'll say specific dates yet because we will be announcing that soon. But very soon we're going to be doing a ranked test, and that ranked test is going to be on live. So what that means is that it's not going to be a separate PTS client that you have to download. This is going to be a test where it's in the game, it's just in the build of the game, and it will be accessible by everyone. And it is going to be 5v5, like we pitched before. I'll talk you guys through what ranked is going to be, because actually there are some major differences we've made based on a lot of the feedback we got. So it's 5v5, and we picked 5v5. We explained why we did this. It was because individual contributions mattered more. It was a competitive game mode, you know, it felt a lot more competitive. Your actions had a much bigger impact. Instead of being a 10th of a team, you were a 20th. No, instead of being a 10th of the team, you were a 5th. From 10% to 20%. That's what I was trying to say. That's correct math. Yes.
Yeah, you did get there. It's
Cool.
okay.
So your actions really matter, right? And that's why it's really cool. And it
No.
feels a lot different.
Your actions really matter.
I just like looking at you.
I don't blame you.
The maps that will be, and this was actually something that a lot of the community suggested as well. The maps that will be chosen for ranked mode are Oasis, Passes of Augustus, and Rubicon. And as I say, this will be on live, so it will be available on that little drop-down box where it will say play versus AI, play versus humans, and play ranked.
Yes,
There we go.
I think.
If not, I'll make it say that. So one of the changes is from our initial document that we said it was going to be tier 5. The test we will be conducting will be tier 7. Thank you for moving the mouse. So it will be a tier 7 test. You will have to have tier 7 units to play. We're not going to boost everyone up, but
Yeah.
you know, if you get there, then you'll be able to play. And the party size is not going to be 5; it is going to be 2. So it will be you're single or you're in a pair. And I will put a caveat here in that in future ranked we would want to do that so it's not a hard cap of 2 in a party. We'd want to find another way to handle parties.
Yeah.
So maybe through the matchmaking algorithm or something like that. But as it stands, we want to just do this test, so we're just going to put this hard cap of 2 on. There is some knock-on from that, in that while the ranked test is happening and the party size limit is 2, the party size limit will be 2 for the entire game. And that is not something at the moment. It was one of those things where we had to choose to spend extra time developing a way to split that out for something that ultimately we didn't really even want to have to do. Or for a few days it will be a party size of 2 for the whole game, and ultimately we wanted to do this test. You will still receive in-game rewards, like normal, rewards, daily victories, premium time, all that stuff for ranked battles, which is really cool. There will be 20 ranks.
There will be blood.
So you go from 20, you go up to 1, and there are 1 to 5 eagles in between each rank. Do you want to bring up the screenshot to demonstrate what on earth I'm talking about? So here's kind of what a rank would look like. So this person is rank 13. You can see that they need 3 eagles. You get an eagle for winning, and you lose an eagle if you lose. So you're working your way up. And you can also see here that some ranks will not be revoked.
Yes, you can't drop back below 15, for example, once you've got it.
Which means, and that's kind of a nicer way to make it a bit more bite-sized, right? In that you're not rank 20 and aiming for rank 1. You're aiming for your next irrevocable rank. That's your like your safe place.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to keep going. I've got a lot to say. You can view your rank in your profile. As seen, it's right here. And you can view other people's ranks in their profiles. But ultimately, we will want a way further down the line to make ranks a bit more visible. But as I say, this is a test, and it's something that we want to try out. And I think this is what we really want to emphasize here, is that the test is about the gameplay. We really want to know what you guys think of the gameplay, of how you feel about 5v5, how you feel about the interactions there on these maps as well. We're not showing the rewards there, because the rewards for the test are absolutely minimal. It's like 10 silver or something per rank. The actual rewards are not in this because it's a test, and we don't want people to play ranked just for rewards at this point. We want them to play it and give feedback based on the gameplay, and that is super important, is when you're giving your feedback is what it feels like to play. So matchmaking will be taking your rank into consideration, and obviously the matchmaking hopefully will be quite nice there, because it doesn't have to take tier into consideration at all, because everyone will be tier 7. Premium units are allowed there, as we've said before, and I have a little note here from me to say, is please do give rank mode a try. Even if you're sitting here right now and you're thinking, that sounds super stressful, people are going to get super angry at me, what we're hoping is that actually the lower ranks, so rank like 20 to 13 even, would be a lot less stressful, whereas people are playing for the game mode and for the gameplay that they're actually experiencing there, and that you're not necessarily fighting to hit number 1, you are just having fun with the game mode, which is ultimately our goal. It's to make this as fun as the 10v10 is, and that's what we want your feedback is on. Yeah, I think we'll save the date. There will be an announcement very soon. We're not talking weeks, we're talking days, hopefully. And that will give you the exact times. And when Ranked will launch its full first season depends a lot on your feedback as well. It depends on what your major things are that you think need changed, all that kind of stuff. So this is a test. We can't say when the first full season's going to be, because that really depends on you guys. But I think that's all I need to say. So someone said, is it always tier 7 or will it change on seasons? That's also something that is completely up for debate.
Possible to vary it by season, so it might.
I mean, we moved it from tier 5 to tier 7,
Yep.
Based on a lot of you guys' feedback as well, so it can always change. So, it doesn't seem like there's a huge amount of discussion about it. Well, hopefully you guys will try it out and give us your feedback. There'll probably be a feedback thread on Reddit, or absolutely, message me, PM me, anything you want to say about it. But we are really excited to get this in your hands, because we've seen a lot of talk about it, of people saying, where is Ranked? And us knowing that we've been working on this to try and get a test, it's been
Just going through my head is a version of Call Me Maybe, but PM me maybe.
And I think that's how
Just
we'll
imagine
end
Josh
it.
like, PM me maybe, or something.
Oh, there's a second Jamie
great.
song. But yeah, there we go. So that will hopefully be coming soon. Someone said Japan is coming, gets delayed. Ranked is coming, gets delayed. No, Region Lock is coming, gets delayed. Well, Rank may have been delayed, but it's being tested at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other two are pretty much true.
Yeah.
So, when I say soon, I do not mean months away. Is that what I'm trying to say here is it will be a case of week.
That distinction needs to be made.
I wouldn't even say, I mean days, weeks,
Just leave it.
Hours,
in the middle of them.
years,
But yeah, there'll be
not years,
more
not decades.
information about that soon,
centuries.
very soon. As in hour, days, one of them.
No seconds are called seconds because they're the second division of an hour.
I do now.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the top community posts of the last 2 weeks. I have got 7 this time instead of 5 because I can't count.
It's because we moved ranked from tier 5 to tier 7.
Oh no, it's
so we
not.
got
It's
7
because.
questions instead of 5.
Do you want to know the actual reason? It's because the first 4 are memes,
that's
and we
right.
wanted some actual like discussion points.
All right.
So let's go to the top post of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I love this one.
And you know, I'm pretty sure they took this from the Total Arena Twitter.
Did they?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
pretty sure.
that's
Can someone
disappointing.
confirm? Can Sasha confirm in the chat? Because I saw her. She was a little bit salty in the Reddit comments, and I remember seeing this like a couple of days before.
It doesn't really work without the headline, which is something like how to infiltrate as I'm
Yeah. In case you didn't get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a really good picture. I love the little wolf nose sticking
Yeah.
out. And that was by Total Arena / oh god, his name. I don't really want it.
Do you want me to read it out? Genitali.
Yeah, it's gently.
Genitali.
I'm going to say gently.
Genitali.
Gently. And next up we have something caused by Jamie.
Yes. I was
mean-
very pleased when I went back down to my desk and before we'd even finished the stream, memes were already there. It was great.
Oh, is this a...
Zooming in.
Oh, great. Do you know what would have been really freaky? If he zoomed in and all the men in the background had my face?
That we
would
just
have-
hadn't even noticed. Oh well, that's the next one.
And that is by Comrade Axel. The next meme we have, because all of the memes are at the top, was... Have you seen this? It's the most expensive
Oh.
trousers, or like the best trousers in the world. It's like,
Yeah.
I really love this.
Yeah.
I love the carbon fiber reinforced fabric. But yeah, there you go, 89k. Like, to be fair, that's not necessarily pounds. We don't know what the arena currency is.
For XP.
I mean, what's he paying? What's this man paying?
89,000 for XP.
And his epic Flynet? What's Flynet?
I don't know.
I'll pretend I know. Oh yeah, Flynet.
Flynet, yeah,
a
that-
whopping
that
experience
thing.
guaranteed. There you go.
The knits of flying.
So, what's next? Oh,
Another
no.
meme?
Yes, that's Wolfen.
Okay.
Next up, we have by Dando SVK. Is it just me or do I look a little bit darker here?
It is a bit dark, isn't it?
I think it's because they must have paused it and then it dimmed and then they took the screenshot.
Maybe.
But it looks like maybe just a more evil Germanicus.
Yeah.
Josh Manicus, I should say.
It's like a terrified one.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
great.
I was terrified.
Yeah.
So yeah, they all happened. Should we move on to the more discussion-y ones?
Sure.
So 9291 has said, "Dear CA," so that's the two of us here. Please have it so it doesn't take a minute to kill a single soldier with 2 full units.
Yeah. The thing with that one is the more units you try to blob into it to try and finish it off, the harder it becomes because those guys, they have a collision radius. There's soft collision, hard collision, but these guys are soft collision. But the more they jostle each other about and knock each other out of the way, the harder it is for them to actually perform an attack. We tried to kind of look at it before, but it's like a really low-level entity movement kind of thing, which is really difficult to fix without messing up a heck of a lot of other systems. It is a lot better than it used to be, which I'm not going to pretend that it's perfect or that it's even fixed, but it did used to be a lot worse. Yeah, I will get around to looking at it again because it does need to be better than
There
it
you
is.
go. Your feedback. I mean, I didn't get the time to comment on that one, and by the time I kind of had the full answer, it's one of those things where it's like the thread is 2 days old, and
Yeah.
whatever I say is not going to be seen at all.
Yep.
But we thought we'd answer you on the live stream. So let's move on to number 6, which is, what should Arena's first impression should be like? There's a lot of text here. I'm not expecting you to read it. I can sum it up for you. In fact, I think this one was part of the feedback anyway. And it's about the tutorial.
Yeah, the very first version of the tutorial I had, well actually no, it wasn't the first, it was one of the first concepts, but it wasn't the first one I actually made, was very loosely based in history,
Yeah.
but it was something more along the lines of you play as, I think it was Caesar. You started off as Caesar, you move about for a bit, you go and take up a base in, I think it was going to be, what's it called? Germania. It was going to be Germania. Or something forested, basically, to sort of be similar to Teutoburg Forest at the time, because that didn't exist at the time. And you'd walk in, you'd capture a base, and that sort of teaches you the movement controls
Yeah.
and how to play a swordsman. And then all of a sudden you'd switch, and you'd be Arminius, and you'd be with cavalry, and you were supposed to go in wipe out Caesar and take his eagle, and then run off. Because Caesar did have some of his. Was it Caesar's eagles got nicked? I swear.
It wasn't.
Maybe that was just in the
It
TV
was
show.
Arminius stole the eagles.
Yeah, Arminius stole someone's eagles. I
Yeah.
can't remember if it was Caesar's eagles.
It wasn't Caesar. It
Yeah,
was
but I
Octave.
remember Caesar also did lose some eagles.
Oh, really?
So that's why I say it's very loosely
Oh, I see.
historically based, because these things didn't. Arminius wasn't
Hmm.
necessarily there at the time, but while Caesar lost an eagle and Arminius took some eagles, in this particular case, Arminius would take an eagle from Caesar, and then he'd run off with it. And that would be kind of your introduction into using cavalry a bit and getting basic attack orders down and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then he would run off, and your focus would again switch, and you start playing as Germanicus, who retrieved many
I
eagles.
See, I see.
So you would then chase down Arminius, ambush him or something along those lines, and this is where you learn about abilities, because as you approach, you'd be shot at and you testudo, and as you get there, you charge into him and you retrieve your eagle. So that was a little bit more of a story-based idea that I had way back when.
Yeah.
That was like 3 years ago now,
Do you think it's
or 2.5? Yeah, 2.5
Do
years
you think
ago.
it's absolutely incredible, right, that in all of Germania, he managed to find, because there were 3 gone,
Yeah.
and he found 2 of them.
Yeah,
Like, it's a big place.
yeah,
Like, that is
you
nuts.
did a good job.
Um,
So yeah, there's that stuff, and then there was the other version I think I spoke about before about
Yeah.
on Thermopylae effectively, and you basically it's more a little bit of a story. It's not a historical story by any stretch of the imagination, but a story of going through a battle and fighting some
Yeah.
stuff.
well, you can see here that they suggest the same thing, right? Historical battles. They're also saying using
Yeah.
tier 10 units instead of tier 1 units.
Yeah, so that was another concept. So that one Thermopylae was using tier 10 units when I
right.
made it, because I made that version. There was another version when we had Capitoline Hill, because that was originally built for tutorial and for tier 1, where I had a concept where half of the map was most of the map was completely cordoned off, where a tier 10 battle was happening, and the idea here was that you had been tasked with helping them out. So you walk in with like tier 5 or something like lesser. Basically, you've been lent some units. You're going to go in. You're supposed to go and help somehow.
Mm.
So you go and deal with like the poxy little guys at the edge of the map or something like that. While the big guys, the big tier 10 guys, have a massive epic battle on the side of
Yeah.
the map with loads of catapults flying everywhere and missiles going over and epic charges. But that would have been a nightmare to script, and I'm very glad I never ended up doing that one.
Actually, one of the comments on here as well was something I thought you might find interesting, where the top comment was about individual tutorials for unit types.
Yeah, so we did. The officer training one does have
Yeah.
mild tutorials for unit types. Problem with tutorials is they're so expensive. Like, it took me 2 months of scripting to get the first version of the current tutorial done. And then I had to iterate on it a good 3 to 5 times, and that took several more months, because scripting is like a really painful process. Especially when you have to then start building maps and UI and all sorts to go around it. It's probably why it took so long last time. It might be quicker this time. But they're quite expensive, and they're difficult. Well, yeah, it could be done.
Yeah.
We haven't really found at the moment that we need it on a per unit type basis, because a lot of people pull out guides and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I very rarely see comments where it's like, I play lots of swordsmen and I tried archers and I couldn't do it. Like the controls are relatively similar. So I'm open to the idea, but
Yeah.
if it's a priority, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
But until it's a priority, then there's other stuff to be worked
I know
on.
there is some internal discussion about changing up the tutorial, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's an immediate.
Well, that's like permanent. Like we constantly talk about, does this need to be in the tutorial? Does it
Yeah.
not? But when it comes to tutorial, there's a line that has to be drawn, because who wants to sit through a massive tutorial, like a series of many tutorials?
yeah.
So I'll end up making it, and then a very small percentage of players will play it or actually use it, and they probably will be the same players who would have figured it out on their own
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
And the players who won't benefit are the ones who need it most, because they won't bother to play it because
Yeah.
they don't want to. I'm similar. I'm the kind of guy who just skips tutorials and just wants to start playing and trying it out. So especially if and it's either I force you to do it, which I don't really want to do because it's not that fun, or I put it in a menu somewhere where you've got to find it, and
Yeah.
you probably won't find it because it's not like you can just Google search the
Yeah.
game.
Well, some people were suggesting commander tutorials in the chat.
I'd rather. No, it's getting very detailed. So the scripting
Why not-
environment doesn't really allow.
Well, we spoke
for
about
that
stuff
kind of-
like how we wanted to do trials at some point is something we were looking into.
Yeah.
But that
Those would be like simpler
yeah, but
things
that'd
where it's
work
like
in
count
like
number of
if
kills.
you had like versus AI or even.
Yeah, but it's more like the detection. Like
Yeah.
to detect, say someone has done a charge, I have to detect in advance how they activated this order, and then have this other unit been hit. It's kind of difficult. Like
Yeah.
some of the abilities, especially, be very difficult for the script to detect when you did it badly or wrong or right, or whether it helped. And then we can implement that stuff, but then it increases the cost. It just gets expensive to create scripted stuff like that.
Yeah, we are.
Especially when it's not something that most of the population will enjoy.
We are quickly running out of time, so let's move on to the next question, which is the final one from the community subreddit. Split. So the whole thing is really saying the title, right? Which is split the upcoming leaderboard, released leaderboard into 2 factors, solo and party. And this is something I responded to, but I figured that maybe it's something you'd like to iterate on. And what I was effectively saying is that because this is a suggestion we've seen a lot over the last week or so, and that is that we take a note of all this feedback, like the fact that we'd bring it up, like we're not trying to hide away from it. Like we do acknowledge that there are ways the leaderboards could be improved. But
I've said it a bunch of times in like Discord channels and stuff. Like, we could do that when we come to do an iteration on it, like V2.
Yeah.
Like we're working a lot on the in-game stuff at the moment, and this is part of it now. So when we come to have another look at it, that might well be the same.
Well, that's the thing. We have our time kind of blocked out for the next
basically
little while, but when we have another block for it,
basically the
we're looking to
vision,
improving it.
the time we had to do it, we'd have had to create 2 versions of the leaderboard, which is significantly more expensive to get done. And I thought, we just we filter out entire. But basically, either we said only solo, which then ruins the experience for people who want to play in parties, or we say only parties, which then ruins the experience for people who don't have friends to party with, or don't want to party, prefer to play solo. So it was like, well, we'll leave it together for now, and then when we come back to it next time, we will potentially split it up.
Okay. So let's.
I guess at the moment, the experience curve is ruined for solo players. But yeah, we'll deal with it at some point. I can't promise when, but it'll be dealt with.
Let's ask the chat. If you guys, we have 5-6 minutes.
5-6 minutes
before our producer has to run, and we can't really do a stream without him.
I mean, we could just stay here forever, and he can leave, and then
let's
we'll never be able to
5-6 minutes instead
we'll
of
never be able to turn the stream off.
So if you guys have any
delivered in.
questions, then absolutely go ahead. We have a couple of minutes. I mean, now this is going to be 20 seconds, isn't it? So just kind of. It's my power. It's my power, man.
He doesn't need the power.
Oh. You getting any? I don't like this.
No, they're just asking Sasha questions.
Oh, well, they haven't heard that we've asked for questions yet.
Yeah.
So I assume that at some point we'll get questions.
Oh, the enemy battles killed in the battle detail screen. Yeah, so I actually kind of want to rework the post-battle screen. So I don't know about you guys, so please tell me if you disagree. This detail screen where it goes down to the nitty-gritty of this is how much XP you got for aggression and this is how much XP you got for defense. I don't use that much. I tend to look at the overview of how much experience I got, so I wanted to replace that panel. Again, please tell me if you disagree. I wanted to replace that panel with more details of what you did in the battle. So how much distance you traveled, how many guys you killed, how many of those were ranged, how much damage you did, all kinds of just stuff about what you did in the battle, and then what your team did as well, so you can compare the team traveled 2,000 kilometers in this battle, or I traveled 10 of those, or something like that. Because this is a personal thing, I find that more interesting, and I would actually bother to have a look at that because that's kind of cool, and helps me figure out stuff like the Scourge title and how close I'm getting to that. So yeah, let me know if you agree with that one, and maybe I'll try and get it done. No.
I feel like a naughty child being told to sit in the corner. It's just the reading show.
I'm trying to figure out which ones of these I can actually answer.
Do you want to see if there's AI can?
How long will the rank test be available?
Rank tests will be available like most of the tests we do. It'll be I'd say 3-4 days. So we try and do it over a weekend so that everyone has a chance to play it.
Yeah, so someone's saying whenever you run out of units, you get a screen that tells you how much damage you did and such, which isn't visible elsewhere.
Yeah.
Why not add that info somewhere? We could. So every bit of info we want to in the battle can determine everything that the battle knows, and it can display anything that the battle knows. When you go back to the front end, it only knows what the battle has told the server. So if we want to display that stuff, we have to tell the server, which then has to tell the front end along with the battle results. So we can do that. Just the more stuff that we add, the more bloated it gets, which is why we haven't done it yet.
What is the
It doesn't
time
mean we
there?
can't do it. That is 55, so 5 minutes, I guess. Unless you want to
We'll cut it close.
fetch another dog abilities fixed when. I think Will did a design to fix a lot of the issues, so I don't know when, but if we've got a design, to get a programmer, we just need time to be able to do it. That's all.
Can I, what?
Talking about balance, can't answer that
What's
because
going
I'm
on
not a
there,
balance guy.
That says, why is the rank test not solo only? Well, when we saw a lot of the feedback, people were saying we don't want the 5 parties, but we would want it to be solo/duo, because I think that's kind of standard.
I think he asked, why is rank test solo only? With
Because,
the capital letters.
So
Because that's important.
because I think solo/duo is kind of the standard, and that's something that we wanted to start with, right? But as I say, we ultimately would want it so that you could join with any size party, and that kind of be evenly worked out. But that is a big goal. And so for now, we are saying up to 2 and no more than 2. Obviously, you can be less than 2. But 2 out of 5 is much less of an impact than 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5.
Don't know what you mean by team battles, I'm afraid. Do you mean ranked team battles? Not in this version, but not in this test specifically, but in future, that's kind of what we want, yeah. Yeah, sorry, Baron.
What is going on? I can't see.
Yeah, this is how I feel every single time.
No, because I
you
read
don't
them out,
and
I
like,
let you.
and I'm reading them out.
Yeah, but the difference is that when you're answering, I can pick the next question.
Okay.
Huh?
Basically,
That was
someone
a lot.
said rip headphone users because I shouted solo
Yeah.
only. This is how we feel when we read your stuff. Whenever you look at the replay select screen, it tells you how much unit XP. Can we replace that with kills, aggression points, cap points, defense points, etc.? Oh wait, this is the replay. Oh yeah. Yeah, we could if you want it that way. Yeah, we could do that. Could improve the replay screen a little bit. Just trying to remember which bit you were talking about. How does a competitive 2-man party gameplay compares to solo players gameplay? Okay. I accept your apologies. I appreciate it. Thank you for the forgiveness.
Shall we wrap it up? I feel like things are just now the reading and chatting.
Also, can we display tiers of units on replays? Yeah, shove it in a Reddit thread, boys.
Oh yeah, obviously, you guys,
Yeah.
if you have feedback, as we've shown, we'll gladly.
Yeah,
you know,
chat
bring
is
it up
all well and
discuss it.
good, but I forget things,
He does forget things.
and he forgets things. Like as you've seen through the many infographics and notes and stuff. He didn't even have his notes when he walked in here. He brought the wrong ones in.
He reveals all of my mistakes and
That's right, I do. But yeah, put it in a Reddit thread, and it'll get noticed and picked up and sent about. This Josh sends I think it's weekly an email of like all the discussions on Reddit and Discord, etc. So that's like the main method that your feedback gets disseminated among us. But I don't know if he goes over Twitch chat and includes that. Which
Sometimes, maybe. If I remember things.
Jamie doesn't
Damn!
know
Now
how to
I've
handle all that.
played into my own hands. All right, we have 2 minutes, JB, and we need to disseminate some important information.
Do we?
No.
Can we get Jamie his own tablet? I agree.
No.
He actually had 2 tablets the other week, and he wouldn't let me hold one.
One was for YouTube.
I just wanted
one was
to
for
read the
Twitch.
comments, and he was like, no, I need both.
I did need both. There were 2 avenues of chat.
And then he tries to ask me to come back on this week. He only asked me like 12 o'clock today. Didn't he? Like, no notice.
All right. Well, I think we'll wrap up there. So we will say goodbye from me
Tell
and
me
goodbye
about the
from.
charge system. Do you consider changing it? Yes, I have a design. I spoke with several players to try and figure out the details. It's mad in terms of its complexity, and I don't know how I'm going to make it or how anyone's going to balance it. We got something. Clearly, we need 4 tablets. I agree.
We're gonna wrap up then. Thank you very much for coming on, Jamie.
Welcome.
We appreciate it. Myself and Twitch chat. And And thank you very much to our producer, and thank you very much to everyone who watched. We really appreciate it. As we say, go onto our Discord, go onto our subreddit, and the community ones, and we will.
And go onto Arena and play it.
Yep, that's always a good shout as well.
I don't have to tell you guys that, but still, play it anyway.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
He might.
And yeah, well,
I might. I don't know. I won't know until about 2 or 3 hours
so
before you do.
So salty. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
And cut.